Long before the name Africa echoed across the maps of the world, this land was already ancient. It had breathed life into the world, danced with the stars, whispered wisdom through its trees, and walked proudly with the rhythm of a timeless spirit. It was not Africa, not yet. It was Alkebulan, the mother of mankind. It was Tamari, the beloved land. It was Kemet, Cush, Punt, Ethiopia, and 1,000 other names spoken in 1,000 ancient tongues. This is the story of that land. Before it was renamed, before it was forgotten, before it was divided. This is the real story of Africa. In the beginning there was land. Land cradled by the Nile, warmed by the sun, kissed by the Atlantic and the Indian. A land of vast forests, stretching deserts, snow-capped peaks, and life-giving rivers. It was here that humanity first stood upright. The first heartbeat of civilization echoed through this soil, and they called it Alkebulan, a name passed from lips that understood the earth as a mother, not a map. Alkebulan, the original name, a name of power, of warmth, of memory. The Moors, the Nubians, the early scholars all knew this name, but today, it lives in silence, hidden beneath dust and denial. From the banks of the Nile rose Kemet, a land the world would later call Egypt. But Kemet was more than pyramids and pharaohs. It was a university before the word existed, a society of engineers, healers, poets, and priests. The people lived by Ma'at, the principle of truth, balance, order, and justice. Kemet gave the world writing, surgery, architecture, and the calendar. They mapped the stars before telescopes. They understood the soul before psychology. To the south, Cush flourished, powerful and proud. Their kings built pyramids 200s, and some even ruled Kemet itself. They were the Black Pharaohs, children of the same Nile, sharing the same sun. To the east was the land of Punt, the mysterious kingdom of perfumes, gold, and wisdom. Egyptian queens sent ships to trade with Punt's rulers, describing it as a divine land, rich and pure. Further north, ancient Carthage stood tall, a Phoenician African superpower. Its general, Hannibal, one of the greatest military minds of all time, crossed the Alps with elephants to challenge Rome itself. Yet, after Carthage fell, the Romans gave the land a new name, Africa. Some say it came from the Afri, a Berber tribe near present-day Tunisia. Others say from the Greek word Afrique, meaning without cold, or the Latin Africa, meaning sunny. To the Arabs, it became Afrikia. To the world, it became Africa. But never forget, Africa did not name itself. To the west, across the golden sands of the Sahara, rose Ouagadougou, later known as the Ghana Empire. Built not on myth, but on gold, literal rivers of it. Ghana controlled the trade of salt, gold, ivory, and knowledge. Then came Mali, under the legendary Mansa Musa, whose pilgrimage to Mecca was so grand, it shook the economy of every city he passed. His empire was a beacon of wealth and wisdom. In Timbuktu, the libraries were vast, and the scholars wrote in astronomy, medicine, law, and literature. It was the Silicon Valley of its time. After Mali, the Songhai Empire rose, a powerhouse of law, trade, and education. It stood tall until foreign weapons and greed brought it down. Far south, beyond the Zambezi, stood Great Zimbabwe. Massive stone towers, intricate walls built without mortar. A city that stunned European explorers who refused to believe Africans built it. But we did, because Africa was never tribal. Africa was architectural, spiritual, sovereign, supreme. In every corner of the continent, from the Dogon star knowledge in Mali to the Sand People's ancient cave art in South Africa, Africa understood the cosmos, understood healing, understood life and afterlife. We believed in ancestors not as memories but as living forces. We consulted oracles not for fear, but for balance. The drum was not an instrument, it was a language. The mask not decoration, but identity. This was the soul of Africa. Then came the silence. Foreign ships arrived, not to trade, but to take. They came for gold and took people. They came for land and took names. The Berlin Conference sliced Africa like a cake, drawn by rulers who never stepped foot here. They drew borders, created countries, planted flags. They erased languages, destroyed shrines, outlawed names. They taught that Africa was darkness, poverty, chaos. But Africa never forgot. Today, the children of Alkebulan are awakening. They are telling the old stories in new ways. They are dancing to drums and drones. They are rebuilding what was hidden, reclaiming what was lost. They are making history across all industries in the world. The spirits of Alkebulan and their ancestors fights for the endlessly. The land that was once called Alkebulan is finding her voice again. And she is not asking for permission, because the world needs to hear her story, not from textbooks written in distant lands, but from the soil itself, from the rhythm of her people, from the truth. The story of Africa isn't lost. It's just beginning. The spirits of Alkebulan stills echoes through modern-day Africa.